Hey, welcome everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. Uh, I'm really excited to be here this morning and to talk to you. I thought I knew what I was going to talk about today, but I've been thinking about some different things this morning, and God just kind of highlighted something else that He wanted me to talk about today. And so I'm gonna kind of lay out where my train of thought was coming from with this. Last night, watching the Super Bowl, there was a point where they were playing something, and it was described uh, the game there, the football being played on a battlefield, on a field of battle. And having spent 20 years in the Army and actually going to combat, I can assure you that that football is nothing like a battlefield. Uh, I understand what they're trying to say, and so I'm not trying to diminish anything, but it just got me thinking about what does it mean when you're on a battlefield? What does that imply? So it implies that there are two opposing sides, an us and them type mentality, and that you actually have an enemy out there that is opposing you and that you are opposing them. And that concept really kind of caught me off guard because we have talked about here in Unedited Life a lot over the last couple of months and really hit heavily on the fact that people are not your enemy. You are not opposed by other people. It is not an us and them. We are all part of humanity. We are all human beings. We are all created in the image of God. And we all have that access to Him. Jesus didn't die on the cross for just some of us, it was for all of us. And so, thinking about that concept of a battlefield and of an enemy, I was drawn to 2 Corinthians 10. This is again Paul in defense of his ministry, which he had to do a few times. But there's an interesting point in here that he makes that I want to talk about. So in 2 Corinthians 10, I'm going to start in verse 2 and read through verse 6. It says, "Now I plead with you that when I come, don't force me to take a hard line with you, which I'm willing to do, by daring to confront those who mistakenly believe that we are living by the standards of the world, not by the Spirit's wisdom and power. For although we live in the natural realm, we don't wage a military campaign employing human weapons, using manipulation to achieve our aims. Instead, our spiritual weapons are energized with divine power to effectively dismantle the defenses behind which people hide. We can demolish every deceptive fantasy that opposes God and break through every arrogant attitude that is raised up in defiance of the true knowledge of God. We capture, like prisoners of war, every thought and insist that it bow in obedience to the Anointed One. Since we are armed with such dynamic weaponry, we stand ready to punish any trace of rebellion as soon as you choose complete obedience." And I love what Paul is saying here. I love the fact that he is saying that he will take a hard line with people outside of this view if they are trying to live by the standards of the world and not by the standards of the Spirit's wisdom and power. He's going to take a hard line with them. If you're viewing other people as an enemy, we have to take a hard line with that, because our spiritual weapons are energized with divine power to effectively dismantle that which behind people hide. It's taking down strongholds, spiritual strongholds. Those are what our weapons are for, right? Those He says we could demolish every deceptive fantasy that opposes God. It is a deceptive fantasy if you think there's something that can oppose God. No one or no thing can oppose him. That's a fantasy. It's something created in your mind. So again, that goes to the whole idea of separation. If you feel like you're separated from God, that's only in your mind. That's not reality. Reality is we are loved by God, and we're commanded to love others as we love ourselves. So your weapons, they're not used in a natural realm. They're not used on an earthly battlefield. They're used in the spiritual realm for the pulling down of strongholds, pulling down principalities and spirits that are trying to oppress us. So that's the one thing I want to get across today, is that, again, people are not your enemy. Love them. Love them well. Be loved well yourself. All right. That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for listening. Share the video, share the Unedited Life page, and we'll see you again soon. Our next video will be Wednesday night at 7:30 Central Time. We'll be back on for Unedited Chats, and I look forward to seeing you there.